Hey everyone, and welcome back to Life Lessons with Mr. D. We're continuing with cars and driving, and this time we're going to talk about auto accidents. What are you going to do if you get into a car accident? What's the best way that you can make sure that you get everything covered and you do everything you're supposed to do? No one plans on having an accident. No one wants to have a car accident. Um, but they happen. And that's why they're called accidents. No one means for them to happen, but they do. So if you avoid driving when you're really tired or when you're really distracted, you can avoid a lot of accidents. There are a lot of accidents that are caused by distracted drivers, on their cell phones. Of course, I should say never, ever, ever drink and drive. Never drive when you've been drinking alcohol. All of you are underage right now, so none of you should be drinking alcohol anyway. But in your future, when you're an adult, even then, don't drink and drive. It's just a very, very, very bad idea. Also, you should always make sure that you have your valid driver's license and your insurance and then your inspection and registration. And a couple videos ago, we talked about what inspection and registration means, so you can check those out if you don't know. And like I said, no one plans on having a car accident. Even safe drivers can have accidents, but here's what to do if this happens to you. So you're driving along and you're in an accident. The first thing is try to remain calm. You're not going to serve anyone by losing your cool and getting scared and worried and nervous and freaking out. No matter what happened, try to remain calm, try to remain level headed, try to remember to use reason and logic. First thing is to look and make sure that you and your passengers are safe. Try to assess the situation. If you're safe and they're safe and you can get out of the car, that's great. If someone is seriously injured, call 911 immediately. If they can't get out of the car, then don't try to force it, but get people to help you out. Most of the time, most accidents are going to be really minor things. Everyone's going to be fine. They just might be a little banged up and a little sore and a little nervous, and that's okay. Check your surroundings. If you can move your car, if your car is drivable, and you're okay enough to drive your car to a very short distance and get it somewhere safe, that's a good idea. Don't leave your car in the middle of the road because there's a chance that someone else might run into you and they're not paying attention and we just made everything worse. So if you're on the freeway, try to move over to the shoulder, the side of the road. If you're on a regular surface street, maybe a nearby parking lot that you can drive into, but something close by. And turn your blinker on and motion for the other car that was in the accident to also go there. And you want to try to end up the same place so that you can talk to each other. You need to ask the other driver if they and their passengers are safe. And if any of them are seriously injured, call 911 and get the paramedics to come out. One mistake that a lot of people make is that they see the other driver, they feel bad about the accident, they feel bad that it's happened, and the first thing they do is apologize. And this sounds like such a great thing to do, but it can be misunderstood. Apologizing can sometimes be interpreted that you're accepting blame for the accident. It is not your job to accept blame for the accident. It is not your job to assign blame for the accident. That's why we have insurance companies. There are people whose job it is to figure out who was at fault. It's not your job. It's not the other driver's job, especially not in the heat of the moment after you've been in an accident. So ask them if they're okay, but don't apologize about it. Like I said before, if anyone is seriously injured, you need to call 911. If you are feeling unsure about the situation, something doesn't feel right, your gut is telling you something is not quite right here, call 911. Just say, I've been in an accident. The other driver and I are talking about it. If no one's injured and there wasn't anything clearly illegal about it, it was just a minor fender bender, the police won't file a report. But it's not a bad idea to have them around. You should exchange insurance information with the other driver. That means that you need a picture of their insurance card, you need a picture of their driver's license so that you have all the information on that. If for whatever reason you can't take down a picture, just get something that you can write on. If they want to send you a digital copy of their insurance information, they can email it to you or text it to you. That's fine as well. But have them do it while you're still there. Don't let them leave without you doing that. You need that information. It's very, very important. Then you should take pictures of both cars. Make sure you get the license plate. Make sure you know what make and model the car was. And take pictures of every side of the car, especially the parts that were damaged, but also the parts that weren't damaged. So you can show exactly, this is the part of the car that got damaged, this part of the car wasn't damaged. Because you don't know if after you leave, the other driver is not going to get into another accident and blame you for both accidents worth of damage. So it's really important that you take pictures of everything. And then make a note of exactly where the accident happened. You look at the intersection, what road you were on, what direction you were going on that road, what lane you were in, what lane the other person was in. Take down all of that information, and that's stuff that insurance companies are going to want from you. All of that information is something you're going to have to turn over to them. So if there was someone who's clearly in the wrong, then and you're talking to the police, they might have you file a police report. If not, then they're not going to file a report. You need to contact your insurance company, and it's best if you contact them the day of the accident, as soon as you can after the accident. Give them all the details and all the documentation that we just talked about. And then visit your doctor if you're injured. If you feel very injured, then go see them immediately. If you're seriously injured, then, get the paramedics to take you to the hospital. If you're feeling a little sore, a little bruised and banged up, then you might want to wait a day and kind of see how you feel the next day. Cars have a lot of force, and car accidents are a lot of punishment on your body. So you're probably going to be sore, and not just for a day, but 2 or 3 or 4 days. And you're free to not go to the doctor, but you're also free to go to the doctor. You need to take care of you. Now, you've talked with the insurance companies and given them all the information. If the insurance company says that you were the one at fault, then that means that your insurance company will pay for the damages of the other car, so that they repair the other driver's damages. Now, depending on what kind of insurance you have, they might pay more. So the kind of insurance you're required to have by law is called liability only coverage. And that means that they're only going to pay for the trouble that you caused for other people, for things that you're liable for. So if you got in an accident, it's your fault, and the other person's car got damaged, they're going to repair the other person's car. But it's up to you to pay for the repairs on your car. The other kind of insurance is called full coverage, which means that they're going to pay for anything that happens in the accident, whether it's your fault or the other person's fault. They're going to, even if it's your fault, they're going to repair the other person's car. They're going to repair your car. And depending on your insurance plan, they might even have other things that can pay for medical bills and can pay for if the other car is an uninsured driver and things like that. But the two main ones are liability and full coverage. Liability is cheaper, but it doesn't repair your car if it's your fault. Full coverage is more expensive, but you are fully covered no matter who's at fault and what happens. Now, if the insurance company decide that the other driver is at fault, then that means that their insurance company is going to pay to have your car repaired. And they might also pay for any medical expenses that you have. If you weren't seriously injured and you didn't go to the doctor, then you don't have medical bills. But if you did, you went to the doctor, then um, they're going to be responsible to pay for some of that, maybe all of that. Um, so in that case, their insurance company is going to offer you a settlement. They want to call you as soon as possible and make sure you're okay. And they're going to offer you, here's an amount of money to cover your medical bills. And they might even add a little extra just for inconvenience, or what some people call pain and suffering, just going through the whole ordeal when it was the other person's fault. As tempting as it is, it's important that you don't accept the offer right away, because a day after the accident, you might be a little sore and think, oh, that'll go away. But a week later, you're still sore and you haven't gone to the doctor yet, and you don't know what exactly is wrong. And now you're starting to understand a little bit more about what's going on. So my advice is give yourself a few days. And if it's something minor, if it's something major, go straight to the doctor. But if it's something minor, give yourself a few days and kind of just monitor what's going on. And if you feel like you need to go to the doctor after a few days, go to the doctor. But don't accept the settlement from the other company until you're sure that you're done with your medical bills. They're going to want to settle with you very quickly and pay as little as possible. But it's in your own best interest to make sure that you have sought out all the treatment that you need and you won't have any extra bills after that. Once they give you a settlement and you accept it, that amount is final, and they won't give you any additional money to cover any additional medical expenses you might have in the next week or month or whatever related to the accident. If you want them to cover costs, you need to make sure you have all the records of all the bills and all the times you went to the doctor. They're not obligated to cover those costs, but they generally do if you have the right documentation and you can prove that it was related to the car accident. If they're paying for your repairs, they might ask you to go to a specific mechanic and have it repaired, or they might prefer or recommend that you go to a specific mechanic. So you want to check on that as well. It's possible for you to go to the mechanic and get your car repaired, and you go to the doctor and get yourself repaired, all before they've actually sent you a settlement, and then they can just reimburse you for those costs. So that was a lot to cover with auto accidents and all of our unit on cars and navigation. Hopefully that answered all of your questions and covered everything that we need to discuss on that. If I didn't answer your questions, please put them in the comments below and I'll try to get to everyone. Our next topic is going to be talking about all things related to college. So be on the lookout for that, and I'll see you next time.